Hello, it is Tuesday, December 21st, 2021. I'm Chris Remo, and welcome back to my New York Times Crossword Daily Solve. I'm here on my remote setup. Hopefully this all works as usual. It's slightly different. I'm solving on a little iPad screen this time, so don't anticipate any issues. We'll just have to see. It's a Tuesday puzzle, so it shouldn't be too taxing. And this will be my 1,001st streak day after yesterday, my 1,000th. Thank you to everybody who congratulated me in the comments. That was very nice to see. Those sort of overwhelmed the typical corrections and bits of information. So we won't have many of those today, in fact. First, though, I would like to thank Resme, Rebecca Brown, Stephen Norrie, and, as always, the inestimable Hood Monster for their generous support on the Patreon campaign as benefactors of my Patreon campaign. And if you'd like to join their ranks, you can do so at patreon.com/dailysolve, where you'll find that benefit as well as access to several months of bonus video solves, including most recently, I just put up a meta crossword puzzle. So this is a category of puzzle that has an additional larger clue or answer that you have to puzzle out having solved the full regular crossword. And that was fun. It seems to be a common type of crossword over on crosshair.org, which is where I found this one. And I enjoyed that. And if you're a Patreon subscriber, head over there and you can watch me do that solve, as well as everything else that's been up on there. And more of those, of course, go up every week. So thanks to everybody who has backed the Patreon campaign. I do very much appreciate it. And also don't forget about the Daily Solve Discord chat server, where you can communicate with other people, chat with other people who watch this series about crosswords, crossword construction, and other puzzles. And I'm looking forward to solving some more of that community's own puzzles for the Patreon feed soon. Patreon subscribers get an extra channel. Anyway, all that said, let us indeed discuss that. I think perhaps single comment from yesterday's puzzle that provided some context around an answer. And this was from Kathy Swope, which is not a surprise. Kathy Swope, a prolific commenter and purveyor of knowledge. And she says, op-ed is short for opposite the editorial page. So I think that's what I was trying to get to in my mind. I think I thought of it as maybe opposing editorial or something. I was trying to remember what that's called because it is, anyway, that is what it stands for. And she says, the direct ancestor, she says, typically authored by someone not affiliated with the newspaper's editorial board, as opposed to an editorial on behalf of the newspaper staff. She says, the direct ancestor of the modern op-ed page was created in 1921 by Herbert Bayard Swope, no relation, of the New York Evening World. When Swope took over as main editor in 1920, he realized that the page opposite the editorials was a catch-all for book reviews, society boilerplate, and obituaries. He wrote, it occurred to me that nothing is more interesting than opinion when opinion is interesting. So I devised a method of cleaning off the page opposite the editorial, which became the most important in America. And thereon I decided to print opinions, ignoring facts. So that's certainly a day of much import, I suppose, that decision that he came to. Anyway, I think that was it. So I apologize if you left a comment that fits into this segment and I somehow missed it. But thank you to everybody for the 1,000-day streak. Congratulations. And let's get on to today's puzzle. This is, of course, a Tuesday crossword, so another themed puzzle, another fairly gentle puzzle, probably. This was constructed by Guilherme Giglioli, and this is a debut construction. We've had quite a few of those recently, it seems, and today's another. I looked him up quickly before loading this up, and so it'll be fun to see what he has in store for us. And I'm going to get on going, so let's get started. Okay. A bygone Russian ruler. A czar. Sometimes in the crossword this is spelled with the alternative spelling CZAR. TSAR is, I believe, considered more correct, so I'm going to try that first. Oh, this is sort of funny. A funny cross. Caesar dressing. Could also pronounce that Kaiser dressing, which is closer to how it would have been pronounced by the Romans themselves. And of course, that is the shared root of the word czar. So that's a fun a fun cross. Anyway, what is a Caesar dressing? A toga, I suppose. Caesar, Roman emperor, dressed in a toga. And the question mark lets us know that there's something a little bit punny going on. In this case, around the word dressing. Okay, so scatter and the Simpsons character with a palindromic name. Well, even if we didn't know this character, we could immediately put an O in that cell because a palindrome needs to read the same in either direction. So we know the O will be in the same position. And I believe this is Otto, the bus driver. All right. So to capture the attention of could be to grab somebody. And MLB's first Rookie of the Year, Major League Baseball's first Rookie of the Year. I certainly don't know that, unfortunately. The developer of the game Breakout, this is an early computer game. This would be Atari. And a Hawk's Home, an Airy. This is one of those words that comes up in the crossword a fair amount. Haven't seen it as often recently, but an Airy, a high altitude home for birds, high altitude nests created by birds. And, scatter, strew. I kept skipping over this. So to scatter seeds, to strew seeds about, for instance. And skiing and snowboarding. So this is an and clue, so the answer will be plural. And these are winter sports. Does that fit? It looks like it does. Oh, and I didn't even think to notice. We have some sort of... Speaking of early computer games, it looks like we have some kind of Tetris theme, perhaps, in here. Or something, maybe not Tetris in particular, but pentominoes, which are the names of the shapes that comprise the pieces in Tetris. These 5-cell shapes... They have different names. I don't remember the names. I think this one, the one that is nearest my cursor, is the P pentomino, and we have 2 of those, it looks like. And then this is an L pentomino, and I think this one is maybe a V pentomino. And I think, where's my cursor? Down here is, I think, a Z or Z British pentomino. I wonder what these are all about. So here we have SPO in the highlighted cells. It'll have something to do with the theme, but I don't know yet. Let's do some crosses branching off of winter sports here. List shortener abbreviation, et al. Latin abbreviation, I suppose, and everything else, I guess. I'm sure there's a more accurate and literal translation than that. Here we have UFO pilots. UFO pilots might be ETs, extraterrestrials. And to cause harm to, feels that it could be a number of things. Lasting marks, scars, perhaps. Oops. And Russians blank mountains, the Ural Mountains, I believe that would be. And what about this? Explosion fragments could be shrapnel. And here we have rock band, whose name also forms the call letters for a rock radio station in San Antonio. Well, I don't know this radio station in particular, but I'm guessing based on the fill, it's Kiss, the rock band Kiss. And so a Sorrento automaker, this will be a make of automobile, and a Kia. The what is Kia's, or is Kia South Korean? I actually can't remember where Kia is from. Might be. Anyway, something that's not quite shut, as a door, for instance, could be ajar, and to cause harm to someone is to injure them. So let's just look at the crosses. Part of a foot is an inch, in this case the unit of measurement, a foot, an inch. And here, to fulfill completely is to sate, to satisfy completely. Still don't know the first Rookie of the Year, unfortunately. What about this down? Plundered goods could be loot. You could have pirates plundering loot. And let's see, does this... So we have spoon. If you read these letters in this P pentomino in a clockwise direction, starting from the S that spells spoon, I don't know if that has meaning or if that's a coincidence. We'll just have to see. All right. Some NFL blockers. Oh boy. Well, I've heard of running backs. I don't know who does what in the NFL, the National Football League, but let's see. With special importance, and it could be notably, so that would make this not running back, so I'm glad I didn't guess that, assuming notably is correct. Oh boy, this probably is something that's come up in a crossword before, and I just doesn't stick in my mind. Puts money on could be bets on, so that would make RTs for the NFL blockers. I mean, I don't know. It sounds plausible enough. Furniture depicted in Frida Kahlo's The Dream. Well, I don't know off the top of my head, but bed seems plausible, starting with a B in a work about dreaming, so let's try it and see. A pesky plant could be a weed. B or C of the Spice Girls? Well, I know, actually, largely thanks to the crossword, unfortunately. Well, unfortunate that that's how I learned it. That there are two Mels, or were, I suppose, two Mels in the Spice Girls, Mels B and C, and the interim period, I can't bring it to mind offhand, first and only chimpanzee to orbit Earth. Oh, I know this, and I can't remember. That's infuriating. Here we have a question of identity. I suppose the simplest question related to identity is simply the word who. So let's try that. And what about this? Sewing shop supply. Dowels? Do you use dowels in sewing? Let's look down. Ask for and talk show to, I don't know, to want maybe, and talk show host Jack Parr was a Tonight Show maybe, early Tonight Show host. I can't remember. Tonight Show, Late Show, all of the different shows. I don't remember which was which. Okay, let's see. Ingredient in perfume and potpourri. Here we have work hard for. Could be earn. I don't know. Maybe Jack Parr is incorrect. Oops, I seem to be losing keyboard input. What's going on? Oh, my screen has... Sorry. I've lost my screen. Let me see if I can... I'll have to put this... I'll have to pause and come back. Sorry. Okay, sorry about that. I think I'm back. Lost a few minutes on my timer there. Clearly some kinks to work out here with this remote setup. I lost my screen and keyboard input for a while there. Anyway, let's get back to the puzzle. Where was I? I don't remember where I was. Let's see. Hair. What is this? Hair. I don't know. I have no idea where I was. I don't remember any of these clues. Prominent feature of a fennec fox. I think fennec foxes have big ears. So let's put that. And what was this again? Ask for. Why am I not seeing what that is? Let's look elsewhere. Lens holder. Lens holder. I guess it could be an SLR, potentially, a single lens reflex camera. It seems unlikely without some kind of abbreviation indicator or something like that. Make fizzy. This A doesn't look very... Make fizzy. I don't know that this looks very appropriate in that context. Like some sprays, I mean, there are nasal sprays. I don't know, is that... Home of the Met, the Whitney, and the Frick, in brief. Well, that's New York City, actually, where I am right now. In walking distance of those things. I wonder if that's what it is. Sing smoothly, yeah, probably. Sing smoothly is to croon. These are all museums, by the way, the Met, the Whitney, and the Frick. All right, the best is yet to come. Actor Cheney, nicknamed the Man of 1,000 Faces, Lon Chaney, classic actor, and maybe some sprays are indeed nasal. And crowning could be atop something that is crowning, I don't know, a pile is atop the pile. Dating blank could be dating app. And, oh, I see, make fizzy is aerate. That looks correct. So, indeed, notably was incorrect. So, with special importance... and halts abruptly. What is with special importance? Notably? No, that's what I had before, of course, but it was incorrect. What am I thinking? I actually don't know. I don't know what that is. Let's keep going. Building with a loft. Building with a loft. I don't know. A flat doesn't necessarily have a loft. Singing voice, meaning heavy sounding. Oh. That's interesting. I wonder what that is. Could baritone possibly mean that? Card suit that symbolizes a medieval weapon. card suit that symbolizes a medieval weapon. Spades? I can't think of what else would fit here. Let's check the crosses on that. Oh, these all spell spoon. Sorry, I just noticed that this original P pentomino that I noticed had the letters of spoon, but so does this. This L also says spoon. And we already have an SP in here. So and whale groups are pods. A pod of whale is indeed what that's called. And here we have Cronus to Uranus, I guess, the sun. And that spells spoon as well. So in this case, it spells spoon reading left to right and then top to down in, I guess, typical Western reading order. And here it follows linearly through the shape of the P pentomino. And here it kind of curves around in a clockwise fashion. So interesting. I wonder what this all means. So we can probably assume the same will be true up here, that this would be an S. Oh, spools, of course. Sewing shop supply would be spools of yarn. That seems very obvious in retrospect. And Robinson, MLB's first rookie of the year. And then ask for and work hard for. So maybe work hard for is earn. And ingredient in perfume and potpourri. Actually not sure. And hair. Don't know what that missing word is. First and only chimpanzee to orbit Earth. Interim period. Boy, I'm getting very slow keyboard input. I don't know what's going on with this setup. It's very distracting. I'm sorry. I have to remember not to mention that sort of thing because it's not apparent to you, the viewer, and so there's really no point in my mentioning it. Display of mentalism, or a hint to this puzzle's shaded squares. I see. This refers to spoon bending, I suppose. Who is it? Ari Geller? I don't know if spoon bending predates Ari Geller, but he's a famous mentalist who claims to be able to bend spoons with his mind, I believe. All right, so what is this? Long, thin strip used in building construction. Oh, not sure offhand. Oh, is the chimpanzee Enos? I think that might be the case. I can't tell if... suddenly my keyboard's gone all wonky. To attempt metaphorically... Oh, an attempt metaphorically could be a stab. So always remember, don't get too caught up in what part of speech this might be, because attempt is a verb, obviously, but attempt is also a noun. An attempt or to attempt. Both valid, and so either of them could be the clue. Exposed for all to see could be bared at all. And I can't actually see the clue here. Can I scroll down to see it? Oh, I think it'll mess with the framing. I'll have to scroll down for a bit and then scroll back up. I'm on this very small screen, so I can't fit it all. First place. Oh, I see. The first place. We've got a question mark, so there's a pun going on here. So Eden, the first place in this case in the Bible. So can I scroll back up? Yeah. Hopefully I don't have to do that too often. All right. Oh, I see. The interim period is the meantime. There we go. And it may be printed on a placemat. I suppose a menu in some restaurants may be printed on a placemat. And I'm going to have to scroll down again, it looks like. Oops, oh no. Sorry about this. Sister. I just can't tell what... Okay, I'm trying to frame this in a reasonable way. Sister. Hen, perhaps? No. Oh, I typed menu incorrectly. I see. Nun, a sister in a religious order, is a nun, and to smooth out is to iron out. So let's scroll back up. To prepare in a way as chicken, I see, is to debone the chicken. That's one way to prepare chicken, so that's why it says prepare in a way, because obviously prepare and debone are not synonyms, but debone is a way you could prepare something. So a site near an exit sign. A door could be near a sign indicating that door is an exit. And a singing voice meaning heavy sounding. It must be baritone. That's interesting. So bari must mean heavy, and then tone, obviously, sound. Reserve and work of fiction. A work of fiction could be a novel. And, oh boy, again, I can't see this. Maybe let's solve some of the ones that I can't, the clues I can see so far. Reserve could be store, and that could be a verb or a noun. You could have reserves, stores, or you could reserve something, you could store it. Walkie-talkie word, you might say over when you're finished saying what you're going to say. Goofs could be errors, as in errors. And one of Cyprus's 2 official languages, that would be Greek. And let's just check the crosses here. We have ne'er-do-well, looks correct. And elks with something that I can't see, so we'll have to scroll down momentarily. Can I scroll down? Yes. Wapities. Yes, wapities is a term. Don't remember the. It might actually be the Shoshone language, but it means elks, as we can see here. Okay, can we scroll back up? See if I can maybe iron this out a bit for tomorrow. I apologize about this, all of these issues. A building with a loft. Oh, it could be a barn. A barn often has a loft. And urges could be yens, an urge to do something. You really have a yen to solve crosswords, for instance. Okay, and halts abruptly could be stops hard. Note, this must be wrong. This RTs, I wonder if that's incorrect. Never occurred to me to take that T out after I determined this was no longer notably. So what is this? Lens holder. And Orpheus's instrument is the lyre. What have I done here? Oh, no, this isn't stops hard. What am I doing? None of this is correct. Okay. Halts abruptly. I feel as though I'm discombobulated, and then all of my input being very unpredictable and laggy is further compounding my discombobulation. This has happened before, I think, in the remote setup, and I apologize for that. All right. There seems to be something when you connect an external monitor to a Mac, and I used to do it with a little travel monitor, and now I'm doing it with my iPad, and I was hoping that this would communicate better with the Mac laptop, but it seems like there are consistent sort of input lag problems and things where it just stops accepting input. I don't really understand, but it seems to be an ongoing problem, so that's a shame. Anyway, halts abruptly, stops. I want this to be stops on a dime, but I don't. I mean, stops on a D, but I don't. Are there any other clues that follow that? What am I missing? I really feel as though I'm missing something here. Lens holder. Oh, an I. Sorry, that's pretty obvious. Oh, stops dead. Okay. Very straightforward. I apologize. So with special importance, notedly, I guess? Notedly. I suppose so, yeah. Isn't necessarily the first way I would think to say that, but I suppose it's fair enough. All right, so let's finish off this puzzle. This will be another spoon down here, we assume. So one of these two ends will be an S, and it's this one, because to give away as a story's ending is to spoil it, so we can actually go ahead and put in the remainder of spoon in this bent shape to create a bent spoon. And what is this? Oh, right, this is a splint, perhaps, a long, thin strip used in building construction. Can't tell if the S has gone in there. There it is. Splint, and this looks like, oh, it's not hair, it's Hare. Hare Krishna. There we go. Okay, now we see what that is. And then ask for is seek, of course, that makes sense. And ingredient and perfume and potpourri, I'm not sure what this is, so we'll need to get it through crosses. www.nytimes.com, for one, is a URL, a uniform resource locator, I believe. And here we have up on the housetop, click, 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 from up on the house, there goes St. Nick, whatever that Christmas song is. And Pinky and the Brain for 2, those are each cartoon characters, or toons, as they're often called, especially in the New York Times crossword. And I don't think I can see this. I'll have to scroll down to see this clue. It may give you visuals. It could be LSD. You might get sort of visual hallucinations. Although then what is this? Oh, maybe it's not a splint, but a spline along the thin strip used in building construction. They both sound plausible to me. A splint or a spline both seem like they could be used in building construction. Let's see. Put into the pot would be antied. And if I can ever see where my cursor is, I will put that in. Oh, nope. It went somewhere wrong. So this was goofs is heirs. Let's get back over here. Antied. And then a subway stop is a station. So let's scroll back up to the correct framing before I put this in. And there it is. Okay. I don't actually know if the audio of the little jingle came through on this. I might have to do some more testing to figure out how to get that to show up. Anyway, there we go. There's my 1001 day streak. And there's a Tuesday puzzle solved in probably more time than it needed to have taken. It's a shame. The first half of this, the setup was working extremely well, and then it started being a little wonky. So I apologize for what probably seemed like my getting more frazzled, which I suppose I was, but also my computer was getting more frazzled. Anyway, that was that. That was a fun thing to sort of see coming together over time. This little spoon. I think I got this P pentomino and this L pentomino filled out with spoon, and then that started to point towards something that was going on, but I didn't know what. It's funny that I suppose because we're spelling the same letter, they necessarily were going to be P pentominos. So it really had our Tetris. No, Tetris isn't even pentominoes. I was incorrect the entire time, but I caught myself, so now nobody needs to correct me about it. Tetris, of course, as the name suggests, are tetrominoes, not pentominoes. Tetris uses the four cell little shapes as opposed to the 5-cell shapes, as in this grid. So clearly I haven't played Tetris recently, which I haven't, I guess. So anyway, Tetris had nothing to do with it. I had, at the beginning of the puzzle, I was wondering if that was somehow going to be part of the theme. Nope, utterly unrelated. And in fact, the thing that seemed similar wasn't. So, but I did find myself wondering what these shapes were about. And then as the spoon came in, really had no idea what spoon would have to do with anything. And I'm not surprised that I didn't infer spoon bending based on that. What a funny, arbitrary reference. But it worked out. I think I mentioned on a crossword fairly recently that the New York Times likes to see new theme ideas in crossword submissions, and that's not a surprise. I mean, if it seems reasonable enough that that's what they'd want, but of course, after decades upon decades of crosswords being published, you do have to start finding, I suppose, sort of odd and arbitrary topics in order to fulfill that criteria. And here's one. A pictorial representation of spoon bending 5 times throughout the puzzle by Guilherme Giglioli. So that was fun. This was gave me maybe a little bit more resistance than a Tuesday crossword often does. I don't know if that was just because I was disoriented by my technical issues, but shouldn't really ever blame that, should I? I might have just been off my game. So. But let me know if you found this to be trickier than ordinary Tuesday puzzles or right around the same. The same as always. Let me know. And by the way, that reminds me, there's a daily thread that's created in the Daily Solve Discord chat server in the New York Times crossword channel inside the Discord chat server. Someone tends to every day create a little thread to discuss that day's New York Times crossword. So I tend to pop in there after I've done it and see what people have enjoyed or struggled with or whatever else. And the link to join that, if you're interested, of course, is in the description field underneath the video. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the puzzle. I hope you enjoyed the solve. If you did, please do subscribe to the channel. And if you think you know somebody who might enjoy this, pass it on to them, either personally or through your online community or social media of choice. Thanks if you do so. Of course, word of mouth is really the only way for this series to grow, so I appreciate whenever anyone does that sort of thing. It means a lot to me. And of course, thank you to my Patreon supporters. That is their generous support, very much appreciated. And you can follow me on Twitter at The Daily Solve. And of course, I'll be back tomorrow for the Wednesday puzzle, the mid-difficulty-ish crossword, before we get to Thursday, the first tricky puzzle of the week, as I always think about it. And I hope you'll be back tomorrow for that Wednesday puzzle. But until that point, please do have an excellent remainder of your Tuesday. Take care.